When you think about the pillars of Malayalam cinema since the 80s, two people come to your mind, and they are Mohanlal and Mammootty, two stars that have tirelessly worked towards their craft and have contributed to Malayalam cinema immensely. Even evolving as art and its connection with the audience changes, staying relevant as bankable leading man even at the age of 70. Malayalam cinema has created a huge global fan following over the last few years, mainly due to the realism that it aims to portray through its characters and storyline. Not only has the recent popularity been due to the social relevance of its films, but we were consistently getting stories that were understated, beautifully edited, and had a noir style like treatment where characters were fleshed out through their actions rather than preachy dialogues. Mass commercial cinema was still something that in my eyes was aced by Tamil and Telugu cinema, and other than Mohanlal's Lucifer in recent years, I did not associate Malayalam cinema and mass go hand in hand. Bheeshma Parvam, starring Mammootty in the lead role and directed by Amal, Neerad, is precisely mass done right. This story explores the developments that take place with the Anjooty family, a family that is headed by the patriarch Michael, played by Mammootty. The film that is set in the 80s takes a deep dive in the business practices of the family, the history and influence that they have in Fort Kochi, and the internal conflict that arises due to the complex relationships that they share. Here's me telling you the good and bad aspects of the film so that you guys can ultimately decide whether to watch Bheeshma Parvam in theaters or not. The underwhelming aspects: predictable storyline and addressing the hate. There is no denying the fact that you can see some of the major developments of this movie from a mile away. The important aspect of the film is whether the screenplay presents these major plot points well, and I have to wholeheartedly say that the technical aspects of this film are extremely impressive. For a mass film to be around 2 hours and 24 minutes long, having such a huge ensemble cast and still not seem like a drag says something about a tight screenplay that has been designed by Amal, Neerad and Devdutt Shadji. There is merit to the argument, however, that conflicts that arise and the ultimate fate of those characters is something that you can easily predict, and the shock value that could have been a part of this crime drama is missing. I want to further talk about something that people were criticizing about the film, and I actually think otherwise. A lot of people were criticizing the uneven screenplay of the film, shedding light on how the music actually slows down the intensity of the film, but the purpose of those songs is entirely different. Amal Neerad beautifully uses the music to develop empathy for certain characters, knowing very well what the impact on the audience will be as the story develops. This is not a break in the screenplay or to shut the monotony, but has been carefully designed to target the heartstrings of the audience eventually. What in a vacuum may seem unnecessary, holistically as a film has been very well designed. The good. Production design. There is no doubt about the fact that the film transports you to another era. If you think this is mass, Amal Neerad with the same energy provides class through his production design and cinematography. The film has the most beautiful vintage quality to it, and all credit has to be given to the production design by Sunil Babu and the cinematography by Anand C. Chandran. Everything from the classic VCRs, the Toyota SUV, the brand of cigarettes being smoked, the camera for the family portrait, all elements of the frame are representative of an era. Oftentimes, in order to reflect a different time on the screen, especially that has a vintage quality to it, creators often mimic the international films that have done it so successfully, but Bheeshma Parvam stands out in its own distinct way, making for a very interesting visual experience in theaters. I was definitely hooked throughout. Background score and choreography. One of the biggest stars of this film that absolutely makes the theater experience worthwhile is the music that has been composed by Sushin Shyam for this film. The careful integration of disco, rock and even electronic music is something to honestly marvel at. There better be videos of the entire jukebox that has been created by this man online ASAP, because it is such a treat to listen to. The electronic music that especially plays when Mammootty enters in slow motion for the big action scenes, especially the two sequences in the warehouse and the parking lot, are set pieces you will absolutely fall in love with. While the background score is something that everybody became a fan of ever since the teaser of this film released, my favorite song has to be Parudisa, sung by Srinath Basi, and I urge you to watch it on YouTube. It not only represents the era of the music set in the 70s and 80s, a clear ode to the rock band 13 AD, which is still so close to many hearts in Kerala, but its visual representation will put a smile on your face. A scintillating choreography by the duo Sumesh and Jishnu, this sequence showcases merry, abandon and freedom like no other. Basi and Sobin really put their soul into the song, making you helplessly smile at this memory that this moment represents for the characters in the movie. Ensemble cast. When I look at the promotions of this film, it absolutely blows my mind that this is even possible, that so many actors from one film industry will collaborate for a solo project. The performances in this film will definitely engage you. Each character handed over unique personality traits that make them distinct in this particular world. The ode to the Godfather and the Mahabharata is clear as day. And you can see the several references created by Amal Neerad. Shine Tom Chaco is back to being his unhinged violent self in this movie, and he accounts for some of the most hilarious scenes. There is just something about Tom Chaco playing an out of control and constantly on the edge character that makes for entertaining moments. I would have never assumed to see him on a film set teaching a lead actor provocative dance moves. I could not stop laughing. Dileesh Pothan as the manipulative politician who is looking for his benefit in the system constantly is marvelous. Jinu Joseph's developing resentment in the family and constantly feeling like he is disrespected really communicates with the audience. For me, of the supporting cast, Srinath Basi and Sobin Shahir as Ajas and Ami respectively shine in the film. Characters who are self-aware and loving brothers, appreciative of their uncle Michael's blessings, have been fleshed out beautifully in this movie, especially standing out in the second half with the most gut-wrenching and emotional moments for the film. Sobin especially shines. Having done everything right, he feels frustrated at the circumstances, breaking down helplessly of what should be done now. Mass done right with Mammootty and themes. The film marvelously caters to the legend Mammootty in the film without it transitioning to become jarring and just hero worship. He brings forth what Don Corleone essentially represents in The Godfather, a dependable problem solver who has the best interest of the family in mind. No matter how many people he disappoints in the process, he always looks at the big picture. Stern from the exterior but soft from within, Mammootty channelizes exactly what a man leading such a pact would require. Amal Neerad has skillfully presented the legend, even in the action scenes, shooting him by aiding the camera moving with each of his movement, never coming across as an aged man beating up goons that could have easily looked over the top and unintentionally funny. There are myths of what mass commercial cinema represents in this country, and Bheeshma Parvam stays away from those notions. There aren't physics-defying acrobats, there isn't objectification for the sake of it, morally corrupt characters are addressed in the film, and there are no unnecessary romantic tracks that don't aid the screenplay ahead. And this is precisely why, in my eyes, this film is commercial mass cinema done right and accounts for an entertaining trip to theaters. They just know how to formulate a film that is not only stylized in its approach but compelling in its storytelling. And that was a video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about Bheeshma Parvam. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.